my name is Alfred. Welcome to Cool Fred's Beamer Tech. It's a video vlog series I've been doing about repairing BMWs. Today got a little something different. This E92 335. So one of my co-workers at work, he wants to get a carbon clean done on this thing. What year is this again?
2007.
Alright, so this is 2007 with the N54 twin turbo i6. So stock they make about 300 horsepower. This is basically the mid-engine replacement for the upper horsepower N52. So this is pretty much I guess the middle engine option between the M3 and the 328, the N54. So I'm gonna start taking this thing apart and pull the intake off and see how bad the carbon is on the intake valves, and then we'll get some before and after shots of what it looks like once they're clean. Alright, so the next step I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my air blower, this right here, and I'm gonna blow off around the intake area. That way I don't get any dust, leaves, or debris down in the intake valves. Alright, up next, the intake manifold is coming off. Alright, we got 7 bolts here. We're gonna zip off. Well, it's actually like I believe it's 6 nuts in 1 bolt. I'm about to get a little something different. Get that last one. Did you have one right there? Oh no, I see what happened. It's that middle one I forgot. We got one on this. All right, I got the intake loose. That a little bit. There we go. Alright, so I gotta try to slide that.
It's really dirty in there.
So yeah, we got some definitely got a, yep, this one may be too bright, but once I get it all out of the way,
yeah,
we'll be able to. It's all right. This is the intake manifold on the N54. Got it out of there. So next step, let me see if I got a flashlight. So these are the intake valves here. There's a little bit of carbon buildup on them. Maybe a little tricky to see, but that's some of the buildup in the intake ports of the cylinder head. So see how some of that carbon gunk is probably almost 3/4 to almost an inch up the stem of the valve. Typically some of these will be worse than others. But so due to the crankcase design on these N54 engines, you can get excessive oil that gets sent into the intake. And since this engine is directly injected, this is one of the first inline 6-cylinder engines that BMW decided to put direct injection on, so you don't have fuel spraying directly on the valves. So since fuel is not spraying directly on the valves, you get a little bit of carbon buildup over time. So pretty much this is for many of the N54 enthusiasts, this is like I guess a maintenance interval every so many miles to clean the carbon buildup off the valves. Typically, this is cylinder 5 right here. It doesn't look as bad, but typically cylinder 5 and cylinder 6 is some of the worst cylinders. So this is definitely not the worst one I've seen, but it does have some buildup. Typically, some of the symptoms of this type of buildup is while you're driving, it gets a little sluggish while you're trying to speed up, or you may get rough running and some misfire faults, because the number one goal of cleaning the valves off during the walnut blasting is to we clean the carbon off the valves, because the carbon buildup restricts airflow. So basically we're trying to get this carbon off so we can improve the airflow through the valves, and that's going to make this thing run in top tip condition and gain a lot more horsepower as well. Alright, so some of the parts and tools that we're going to be using for this job is, we got some walnut shells. These right here from Harbor Freight, and they seem to work better than some of the other ones out there. So this is the fine grit, and that's the part number right there. So, and we got a set of intake manifold gaskets. That's the part number right there. So you need 6 of them to reseal the intake manifold back on there. And we happen to work at a shop where we have access to a walnut blasting tool. So you get all this hooked up and get ready to go. Before I do that, what I like to do to make things easier is I got me a remote bump starter connected, so I can turn over the engine as needed. So versus me standing here and having to take the electric fan and things like that out, and have to have a big breaker bar down in here. This vehicle right here has some modifications on it, so there's a lot of things relocated and stuff like that. It's got some upgraded turbos and charger pipe and stuff like that. So this right here keep me from having to do a lot of work down here. The next thing I'm gonna do, I got some of my vacuum lines plugged off to keep just excessive walnuts from entering into the engine, and also got the other side of my charger pipe, I got a glove right there to keep walnuts from getting in there. And I'm gonna put some tape over the intake ports, over the intake valves, that I'm not pretty much I'm gonna work on one cylinder at a time, and the rest of them are gonna be taped off. Pretty much the rule of thumb on these engines, just based on the experience, is 4 of the intake valves are pretty much always closed, and there are 2 open. So I'm gonna take a flashlight, shine down in there, see which ones are open, and I'm gonna make a note of it, and I'm gonna start with those 2 cylinders first, and then I'm gonna bump the engine over and get the last 2. Well, actually, I said that wrong. 2 of the intake valves are open, so I'm gonna take note of that. I'm gonna do the 4 cylinders that are closed, and then I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna bump the engine over, and then I'm gonna do the remaining 2 cylinders. just took it off. Start rolling on it.
So like the first one was there, the second one was two-phase turbo. I just want to actually kind of get like an extra part up on there. Alright, so we'll check. This is what we got. So far, that's a lot for me.
It's over now.
Yeah. Yes, that's a lot better. I'm going to scrape. There's a few little things I got to scrape out of there, but for the most part, it is clean. So we got most of the carbon off the valves in there. So
Actually, that's not bad. There's always a little bit of stuff on the, like if you want to look down in there, like how I scrape some of the stuff like off of the wall.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just scraping it, and this stuff is falling down there. Just take a couple picks. So we're done with cylinder 1. I'm gonna move on to cylinder 3. I'm just gonna write a little note here. I'm just gonna put an O for open because cylinder 2 is open and cylinder 6, the intake valves are open. So you basically don't want to walnut blast the cylinders where the valves are open because you can fill the cylinder with walnuts and you can lock up the motor that way. Alright, so far I'm about to get ready to clean cylinder 5, and we were looking down in there and it looks like it's like 2 mountains down in there. Like this is pretty bad, the amount of carbon that's down in there. I'm trying to focus my flashlight. So much carbon down in there, but that's cylinder 5 and this is cylinder 4 that I've just done, and you can see a huge difference. You can see those valves nice and shiny down in there. So pretty much you get a good idea of what a carbon clean does, well, a walnut blasting on these things. So it's a big difference between this set of valves here and right here on cylinder 4. So I got 3 down and 3 to go. Alright, so I got 4 of the cylinders cleaned up. That's cylinder 5 right there. I'm about to move on to cylinder 6, but it's probably a little tricky to tell with the camera, but the number 6 intake valve is open. So I'm just gonna bump it over with my remote starter and get that. I'm gonna get that one to close. So I'm just gonna bump it over until that valve closes up. And I'm gonna do 6, and then I'm gonna come back and do cylinder 2, and that's gonna be it. Alright, I got 5 cylinders down and 1 to go. Well, the last cylinder left is cylinder 2. So I'm just gonna show you guys what it looks like when the valves are open. If my camera will get in there, but you might can see there a little bit. But it's a little tricky to see that they're open. You can kind of see it a little bit on this other end here. I guess maybe if I put my light there. So alright, so these are the valves here. They're open, and I got somebody that's gonna help me. They're gonna bump the bumper, the bump starter, and until they close. You go ahead and hit it. Alright, you see, they're closed now. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this one knocked out. Alright, so I got all the intake valves clean. So all of them are looking good and ready to go back with the intake manifold. Here. All right, we got the intake manifold on there. Went on and torqued it down. The torque on that is 15 Newton meters. Now I'm putting the power steering reservoir on. It's been relocated on this model because this car's got some upgrades. So all right, it's time for the moment of truth. Got this thing back together. Alright. Let's keep running. Back running, guys. All right, taking the 335 for a quick little spin here.
Warms up at 160 degrees.
Got a lot of torque. Yeah, we just taking this thing for a spin, the 335. Just got done doing the carbon blast last night. And the owner of the car, he says this thing has a lot better throttle response. It's seems like it's a lot quicker, and he's gained some horsepower. got a little quick little thrill ride in.